Welcome to this podcast. Here, a woman writer reads an excerpt, poetic, literary, that has moved her. Then she shares an intimate story on the same theme. In this podcast, we can read what has kept us going. We can finally say what we haven't been able to put into words. This podcast is a space for exchange between the words of others and our own silences.
A Rose for Emily by William Faulkner. I want some poison, she said to the druggist. She was over 30 then, still a slight woman, though thinner than usual, with cold, haughty black eyes in a face the flesh of which was strained across the temples and about the eye sockets, as you imagine a lighthouse keeper's face ought to look. I want some poison, she said. Yes, Miss Emily. What kind? For rats and such, I'd recommend... I want the best you have. I don't care what kind. The druggist named several. They'll kill anything up to an elephant, but what you want is... Arsenic, Miss Emily said. Is that a good one? Is arsenic... Yes, ma'am. But what you want? I want arsenic. The druggist looked down at her. She looked back at him, erect, her face like a strained flag. Why, of course, the druggist said, if that's what you want. But the law requires you to tell what you're going to use it for. Miss Emily just stared at him, her head tilted back in order to look him eye for eye, until he looked away and went and got the arsenic and wrapped it up. The delivery boy brought her the package. The druggist didn't come back. When she opened the package at home, there was written on the box under the skull and bones, for rats. Already we knew that there was one room in that region above stairs which no one had seen in 40 years, and which would have to be forced. They waited until Miss Emily was decently in the ground before they opened it. The violence of breaking down the door seemed to fill this room with pervading dust. A thin, acrid pall as the tomb seemed to lie everywhere upon this room, decked and furnished as for a bridal. Upon the valance curtains of faded rose color, upon the rose-shaded light, upon the dressing table, upon the delicate array of crystal and the man's toilet things backed with tarnished silver, silver so tarnished that the monogram was obscured. Among them lay a collar and tie, as if they had just been removed, which lifted upon the surface a pale screen crescent in the dust. The man himself lay in the bed. For a long while we just stood there, looking down at the profound and fleshless green. The body had apparently once lain in the attitude of an embrace. What was left of him rotted beneath. What was left of the nightshirt had become inextricable from the bed in which he lay. Then we noticed that in the second pillow was the indentation of a head. One of us lifted something from it, and leaning forward, that faint and invisible dust dry and acrid in the nostrils, we saw a long strand of iron grey hair. I'm Mariana Enriquez, I'm 51, and I live in Tasmania, Australia.
Mariana Enriquez chose to read this novel by Faulkner because it echoes different memories from her past. And here is the first one.
It is the late 70s. I'm really little, like 5. I couldn't know there was a dictatorship, but it's very heavy in the house, and my parents are very frightened to go out. There's all the time this tension. I start to panic a lot when they go out and they don't come at the right hour or at the hour I think they should come. And my fear was that they were going to be taken. My mother tells me all the time that when they have to cross the bridge from Buenos Aires, the capital city, and Lanús, that is where we live, that is technically, everything is called Buenos Aires, but it's not the same jurisdiction, let's say, that there are soldiers in the bridge and that they point at them and stuff. She always tells me, insisting on this, that once when she was pregnant, they were pointing at her belly. I'm terrified of that image. And because of the house, the situation, even the school, everybody's so tense and there's so many whispers and the sense that things are very dangerous out there, although nobody talks about what's going on. I decide that my parents had kidnapped me and they are extraterrestrial beings. That's the way I deal with the fact that I don't like it there, that I don't like to be with them, that I like them, but something's off. And I decide that they're not human and I'm not theirs at all. So I start to listen to their conversations at night. Our rooms are very close. They leave the door open for me also because I'm little. And I listen to them to catch a conversation where they speak about how they're going to give me back or anything. And I can't tell what they are talking about. They talk really low and that, or I don't understand. And that to me is more of a sign that they are not who they say they are. It's the early 80s. And around the neighborhood, they are talking about the grandfather of one of the kids that plays with us in the street. It's a very poor family, but everybody likes them, except for this man. He works as an undertaker in the cemetery of Lanús. They've been talking about him forever, saying that he was obviously very creepy because of what he's doing, but also they're saying that he steals from the dead, like he steals rings and valuable things, jewels. But at this point, a massive rumor is around the kids that he had stolen coffin, and the coffin is in the backyard, and that he is inviting people to go inside the coffin. And that when you say yes to the invitation and you get inside the coffin, you feel hands grabbing you. Nothing happens, as in you're not in real danger, apparently. You just get out, and he has a laugh. They also say that he's sitting on it, as if it's a bench, and he's drinking mate in the afternoon, but nobody dares to check, and nobody dares to ask the kid, Gustavo. And to this day, I don't know. That's one of the mysteries of the neighborhood. I'm 12. I'm an insane Catholic at this point. I love it. I love religion. I love Catholicism, especially because of the mythical narrative. I love the Jonas and the whale. I love locusts coming from the sky. I love Moses opening the Red Sea. I want to live there. I love Jesus coming back from the dead and like this handsome corpse walking around. I like Lazarus as a zombie. I'm completely obsessed. Like I've read the Odyssey too and to me nothing beats the Bible. I think it's super cool, and I really like the churches. They seem wonderful to me, and I want to be a priest, a man and a priest and a pope. And I'm 12. And now comes the ceremony in Catholicism called confirmation. That is the big mystic thing where you kind of accept Jesus. You get the cross in oil, written in oil on your forehead, and you're supposed to see the divinity, to see Jesus Christ. So I was actually waiting for Jesus Christ, like literally, because in my readings of the Bible, things happen literally. It's not like when the apostles are waiting for Jesus and Jesus appears to them after death. It's a dove or it's a butterfly. It's Jesus saying, put your hand into my wound on my side. All that was like, I want this. So I get the oil on the forehead and I basically get into this state of extreme openness. It's the only time I have that in my life. Spiritual openness, just like really waiting for Jesus. And it doesn't happen. And I vividly remember I'm alone not in my room or anything like that, beside the church. This was kind of extreme, and I'm sitting there waiting because he had to come, so I'm really opening and praying and waiting and it doesn't come. And I remember I said to myself, if he doesn't come in like 24, let's give it 48 hours, like this is bullshit. And he didn't, although I was really prepared and I was like praying and having all this kind of mystic situation. It's the closest I've been to a supernatural event, because it's the time when I am ready. I think that is the end. I am very crushed after that. I am not a Catholic anymore, although I still think it's fascinating, but it's over. I become uber fascinated with the supernatural, just because when people tell me that they are connecting with ghosts or things like that, I don't remember what that feels like, and I know that doesn't happen if you wish for it. As a teenager, I become completely fearless. As in, I don't care about danger, I don't care about death. It's quite amazing, because I spent, I think, my whole childhood fearing danger, fearing death, mine and my parents, and impending doom all the time. And then I am a teenager, and suddenly all that is past, all that seems really, really stupid and useless, and I feel that was a waste of time and a waste of childhood and a waste of youth, and I am a daredevil. I start doing drugs really early, 13, 14. I look for them. It's not like I am in a situation where they give me drugs or anything. No, I start smelling pot in my block. We notice with our friends that it's a guy from a very, very, very nice house. We just jump on him and like give us pot, and he said no. And then we go to my friend's older brother, and he comes to the conclusion, like, if the kids are so desperate, it's better that I give it to them instead of them going the streets. And from there I start like a rampage of doing just whatever, and it's a lot of fun. It's super extreme, but it's expensive. I try to steal money from my parents and from whoever. There's many times where the thing goes very, very extreme, but the best one and the worst one, I guess. We're in a car. I'm dating the singer of a band. He's a very, very cool guy, very nice for being a singer of a band and being super handsome. And we are in a car of I think the saxophone player of the band. It's a band that's very, very rock and roll, like early 70s Rolling Stones, kind of very sexy. His car is a mess. So we are all high, like super high, with everything, I don't know, acid, cocaine. This was a mess. The car is super fucked up. And the floor of the car just breaks and goes, and it's in the middle of the road, and we all are in the car with our legs in the air because it's the pavement, there's no car anymore, but it keeps on going, and we find it amazing, and we started to scream, sing. It was super dangerous. I was feeling so alive. We are in the first years of university, studying journalism in the city of La Plata. One of our friends, we don't really are in classes with him. His name is Miguel Bru. He's always out there. He's not really going to school, but we're having a lot of fun. He has a band. He's quite cool, kind of everybody wants to be with him. He's dating two of our friends at the same time. I'm getting drunk with him most nights with like very sweet liquors in the street, but he's a very gentle boy. He lives in the corner of a police station. And he's having a lot of problems with the neighbors and with the police because he has a band and the band is really loud and he's not obeying to the police when they say to keep it down or to the neighbors' complaints or anything. And one day we don't see him when he's supposed to come. He disappears. He doesn't come to the places that we usually see him. And of course he doesn't come to class, but he never used to. So that was kind of normal. He has a little house by the river. They find that this was the middle of winter. He had made some fire there and there's a guitar. So they say that he probably was there. Maybe he went swimming, but that was not like him at all. He's not like that. And the days pass and signs start to appear that he was with police the night that he didn't appear. In a few days, it's obvious that he was taken by the police in one of the altercations that they had. So we start with the university and with the family to do demonstrations in the street to ask for where he is. Some weeks pass. It's a very quick process, all things considering, and it transpires that indeed he was taken by the police and they made him disappear. So he never comes back. We keep on doing demonstrations in the street, and it's the first time that I can sense danger among my peer group. It's the first time that I feel the presence of the past, in the sense that everything about police violence, violence from the state, and that it's like something that happened to my parents but not to us. And then we realize that we are in the same, not the same, but in a very similar situation. His body never appears, but it's proven in court that they killed him. They didn't want to kill him. Police wanted to stop him from messing around and being impossible, which he was. So they gave him a beating and he died. To this day, he was never found. That is the first time I face death of a peer, not of sickness, not of an accident, but in a way that is very phantasmagoric because it really comes from the violence of the past. It's the first time that one of my friends is gone. There's no way of grieving him properly. And it's a personal but very political death.